I'm gonna be attempting to commit arson, a hardcore Nuzlocke in Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver using only fire types. Now you may ask, Meatball, didn't Sylph Spectre already do this challenge in 2021? And the answer is yes, but he only went up to Lance and survived with only Magcargo. My goal is to face Red and beat him down to obtain the complete W. But if you're curious about what other monotype hardcore Nuzlockes that have and have not been completed yet, make sure to check out the spreadsheet in the description. There's a bunch of wonderful creators linked there, and I highly suggest checking out those videos if you want an enjoyable binge session. Make sure to subscribe, ring the bell to get all notifications of uploads, like the video since it really helps out a lot, and follow me on Twitter to let me know what other runs you want me to tackle next. But with that, let's begin. So if you've been to the channel before, you'll find that Johto is not my favorite region in the franchise. In fact, it's pretty much almost at the bottom. But I do like difficult challenges, and I think this one will provide me with plenty enough to keep me on my toes despite the low levels of most trainers in the game. Of course, starting in New Bark Town, I'm able to get my starter Cyndaquil as my first encounter, which I'll be EV training in special attack and speed in order to outspeed opponents, especially water types, with the likes of Sunny Day to help decrease the power of their attacks, then blast them with a hefty Solar Beam, thankfully obtainable in the Goldenrod department store before the third gym. The best way for me to do this is just by training on level 2 Pidgeys for speed on Route 29, as they provide 14 EXP each and is the minimum I can obtain while still getting that specific EV. After getting to level 8 though, it's an easy tackle fest to take out my rival's Totodile, naming him Pooh because haha funny, and because haha Earthbound. Seriously, who decided it was a good idea to market this game in Nintendo Power with scratch and sniff, as well as messages of, this game stinks? Well, if it stinks, then people won't fucking buy it! And Nintendo won't release Mother 3 in the West because of it, even though they put it on Nintendo Switch Online in Japan. As for my second encounter, Slugma is in an egg provided by Primo in Violet City, which will be EV trained in defense and special attack, being a great defensive physical wall as a rock type while also being able to dish out powerful stab moves like Flamethrower and Ancient Power, while also being able to support the team with Sleep thanks to Yawn and Screen Setup with Light Screen. As for special attack EVs, the lowest level Pokemon for me to grab those off of is level 6 Mareep on Route 32, which when split between Cyndaquil and Slugma provides 25 EXP for each Pokemon, and with a level cap of 13, there is absolutely no way for me to max out their stats already. Not a problem though, as I should be able to get enough to pummel Falkner into submission following the creation of Johto's second Burn Tower because I burned all the Bellsprouts to practice Fry screaming at some point would do something funny. Anyway, Falkner leads off with Pidgey, I lead Slugma and obliterate it in a single critical rock throw following a sand attack leading to Pidgeotto. Of course, because of that, I swap into Cyndaquil, taking a tackle for a fourth before hitting Ember, taking a gust before dishing out another Ember, and seeing all of that get healed off thanks to a Roost. That seems like a problem. Well, Cyndaquil is a little too weak to battle, so I swap back over to Slugma, seeing a tackle that thankfully triggers Flame Body, burning Pidgeotto and helping to nullify its physical tackle. However, it's a little bit problematic since Slugma doesn't have the highest special defense, but I should be able to survive long enough, which in turn lets me spam Rock Throw and he spams Gust, surviving on 11 HP for me to KO and win the fight, evolving Cyndaquil into Quilava in the process. Not the best execution, but that burn certainly helped finish the job. Now, of course, Bugsy isn't really a difficult boss because of our typing, so it's a straight shot through Route 32 in Union Cave to get there after getting a few more EVs on my Pokemon, taking out the rockets in the Slowpoke well, including Proton, which, in case you didn't know, the entire Team Rocket is just a pushover, and I don't think there's any reason to go over them when I just grill them into medium rare Pokesteaks. Anyway, Bugsy leads off with Scyther, myself with Slugma, and it's mostly for Flame Body, taking a quick attack for half damage, and sure enough, it triggers on first contact, having her attack stat, and letting me hit it with a Rock Throw for about half damage as well before the Citrus Berry activates, forcing me to use another Rock Throw to get it into the red with the burn damage as Bugsy chooses Focus Energy, giving his Scyther the critical boost, but now giving me a free switch and a Quilava upon Super Potion usage. From here, it's just a burning down with 2 Embers, taking 15 damage from 2 quick attacks before also frying up Metapod and Kakuna with 1 Ember each to win the fight. Would have been nice to have access to Oran Berries this early on to ensure that if Slugma didn't burn Scyther immediately, then I would have had a second chance and a free switch into Quilava following getting it to the red with a second Rock Throw, but things worked out in the end, and I'm close enough to the beginning of the run that I wouldn't have had many qualms with starting over with the second attempt. Straight after is our second rival battle, with Pooh leading Ghastly and myself with Quilava, KOing with 2 Embers following a Spite to lead to Croconaw. Now, I don't have access to Solar Beam just yet, so I'm stuck using Smokescreen to make sure it doesn't hit a single move, thankfully not getting hit with anything other than Scary Face for the first half of its HP, but then taking 2 Water Guns back to back despite being at -6 accuracy. Not a problem though, as I can just swap into Slugma and hit it with Smog, poisoning it and letting it go down to a Rock Throw, leaving just Zubat. Now, Zubat manages to connect Supersonic here, which forces Slugma to hit itself twice in a row, all while Zubat burns itself by connecting with Bite, eventually bringing Slugma down to just 5 HP. Oh shoot, Quilava doesn't have much HP left, but it's gonna have to be enough. Thankfully, it is, as Ember takes it down, winning me the fight by the skin of my teeth. Also, thank goodness water types aren't common until later. Things are really dicey at this point with them. Fortunately for me though, my TM savior awaits in Goldenrod City, but not before some gambling. If this was the Japanese version. America doesn't like pachinko, but they love table games. And I'm kind of part of it when it comes to exactly Yu-Gi-Oh!, Triple Triad, Pokemon TCG, and the topic of our current game, Voltorb Flip. I am a nut at Voltorb Flip and certainly went hard to make sure that I had the coins necessary to stock up on the main TM that will make this run tick, Flamethrower. As for Solar Beam though, I can get that from the Goldenrod department store, though Sunny Day won't be available until after clearing out the radio tower post 7th badge. Speaking of which, after grabbing the radio card, it's time for Whitney, a fair 2 versus 2 match that certainly won't go out of hand because of rollout. Surely. She leads Clefairy while I go with Quilava, outspeeding and hitting Flamethrower for around 75% as she hits a 5-hit double slap for 15 damage. A little over a quarter, but it's not a problem as she goes down to a second, leaving just Miltank. Now, Stomp does less than half of my current HP, letting Quilava hit a Flamethrower for over half, so if she decides to commit into Milk Drink, she loses. If she decides to commit into Stomp and doesn't flinch, she also loses. The latter happens, leaving Quilava with just 3 HP, as Flamethrower does pick up the win and the Plain Badge. Although you may as well call that the Pain Badge, since if Stomp crit before I grabbed Growlithe to see if it had Intimidate or Flash Fire, I think I would have been a little bit peeved. Speaking of, off to Route 36 so I can grab myself said Growlithe, but unfortunately for me, it does not have Intimidate. This is kind of a near-death sentence for Lance, seeing as most of his Pokemon are physical attackers, but I think we can make it through. I'm at least gonna try. If it doesn't work out, I'll just try to get one with Intimidate and go at it again, but we've got a long way to go before that potentially happens. This, of course, will be EV trained in attack and speed, but with one problem. I'm gonna have to keep Growlithe unevolved until level 48 to get access to Flare Blitz, something that Arcanine does not learn naturally. The Elite 4 level cap, though, is 47, meaning I have to evolve it after entering the league, which means I lose out on Arcanine's other great moves in Extreme Speed and Thunderfang. It's a hard choice, but I'm pretty sure I'm going after Flare Blitz, since 150 power stab physical fire type move is just really good. I can technically replace the Extreme Speed with the no priority return for higher power, but Thunderfang I think I just have to go without, which is very unfortunate. But hey, I'd rather have that over the pitiful 60 power 100% accurate Flame Wheel or the 65 power 95% accurate Fire Fang. One Sudowoodo later though, and I'm in Ecruteak City, able to chase Bill off back to Goldenrod, or at least his Eevee, so I can pick that up, participate in the Pokeathlon, and purchase myself a Firestone to evolve it straight away. Flareon doesn't have the same evolutionary stone problem that Arcanine has here, so it's safe to evolve it and Eevee train straight away in attack and special defense. I don't expect Flareon to outspeed anything, and I'd rather have a special tank on the team since fire types are sorely lacking in tanks in general, so having one physical eventually with Magcargo and one special with Flareon should help somewhat. With Flareon and Growlithe Eevee trained up though, as well as finishing off Slugma and Quilava's Eevees, I'm ready for my third battle in the Burn Tower, soon to be no tower at all as Pooh's team is getting burned down as we speak. He leads Ghastly, I lead Growlithe, and dish out a one-shot Flame Wheel to KO, leading to Croconaw. For this, I have Roar to keep Croconaw away from attacking, using it following a Scary Face to drive in Magnemite and outspeeding despite being -2 and KOing it with a Flame Wheel as Croconaw comes back in. Once again, it's Roar following another Scary Face, leaving Zubat to be dragged in, using Supersonic on Growlithe to make it hit itself for a little over a quarter. This forces me to swap into Flareon and take a wing attack for almost half, that is a lot of damage for a Zubat, before dishing out a one-shot Flamethrower, leaving just Croconaw. I figure I can tank a Water Gun or two while throwing a few powerful neutral physical attacks at him like Facade, doing a little under half as Croconaw goes for Scary Face, doing the same thing next turn as Facade brings him down to red HP, leaving Quick Attack's priority to pick the bones and finish the fight without any losses. Good stuff. 4 Pokemon still alive is all I'm asking for, since if I don't make it to the league with a full squad of 6 Pokemon, I'm gonna be in really rough shape. Though I did just release Entei into the wild, and that might be a nice secret weapon that'll help me later depending on how this run turns out. Speaking of secret weapons, the Burn Tower contains my next real encounter in Magmar, my 5th encounter that'll be EV trained in special attack and speed, thankfully with great coverage moves like Focus Blast, Hyper Beam for cleaning up tough KOs, Psychic once we get to Kanto, and of course the signature Flamethrower. Morty's gym unsurprisingly goes well with Growlithe though, tearing through the competition with physical flame wheels like they're butter melting in the microwave, leaving me to finish up getting to level 25 in preparation. Morty leads with Ghastly, myself with Magmar as I have Feint Attack, though I think Flamethrowers should still put in pretty good work here. Feint Attack gets a one-shot on Ghastly, leading to Gengar where we do half damage before a Mean Look connects, all while Gengar recovers enough with a Citrus Berry to survive a second Feint Attack, following up with Hypnosis. Yeah, I probably should have equipped a Chesto Berry here, since I did just get access to them from the Goldenrod department store lottery. Everything's fine though, as Magmar wakes up the turn after Morty uses a Hyper Potion, doing half once again with Feint Attack as Shadow Ball does a point over half damage, triggering Magmar's Horn Berry to keep me out of range, just in case I miss the range here with the second Feint Attack, but I don't as Gengar goes down and leads to Haunter. Feint Attack takes it out just as well, and 4th out is Haunter number 2, and it's 2 levels higher and therefore barely survives a Feint Attack as Nightshade connects. However, my level up gave Magmar just enough HP to survive on 2 of them with 1 HP as calculated, but following the second Hyper Potion, Morty just opts to go for the weak physical Sucker Punch, bringing Magmar to just 8 HP as a 3rd Feint Attack wins the day. 4 Johto badges down, 4 more to go. Now, there really isn't much to talk about during the mid-game nonsense of Johto, just a bunch of trainers that don't provide any flack whatsoever, so all I have to do is wipe out every available trainer on the map, then take out Chuck, Jasmine, and Pryce. I mean, sure, after taking out the Mahogany Team Rocket hideout, but that was easy enough as per usual. Petrol is a joke, though we'll be seeing more of him later. First up though, Chuck leads with Primeape, myself with Magmar, and now Primeape no longer exists due to the power of Flamethrower. Second out is Poliwrath, which is a little frightening with Surf, but Chuck's AI is really stupid and usually never finishes off a KO with anything but Focus Punch, so I'm safe to just sit here and wail on him with Flamethrower following the Surf to nullify all Focus Punch attempts and KO after a few turns to win. Jasmine is even easier as 3 Magmar Flamethrowers are enough to best Magnemite, Steelix, and Magnemite number 2 even while being 3 levels under Jasmine's cap. Actually feels weird kind of going in badge order here, since normally I do Pryce 6th due to being level 34 cap instead of 35, and I guess type advantages are plenty enough. Speaking of, Pryce leads off with Steel, myself with Quilava, and I just start barraging him with Swift, hitting 2 of them to bring him into the red with that and Hail Chip, forcing a Hyper Potion and constantly healing off the hail damage thanks to the held Shell Bell, beating down Seal even more with Swift until I got a critical hit on the 4th attack, KOing before Seal had the chance to strike back following that Hyper Potion. Second out is Piloswine, of course being burned to a crisp with Flamethrower before being able to do anything, leaving just Dugong. I don't remember if this thing has thick fat, though by the looks of the Flamethrower damage, it does. But I'm only doing about a quarter per shot, so it's not the worst, but I may as well stay in anyway, bringing Dugong into the red as he goes for rest, giving me the chance to start healing off the damage with Shell Bell, if it weren't for Sleep Talk. It's still not keeping up enough damage for me to have to swap out yet though, so I'm cool sitting in with Flamethrower until Dugong wakes up in the red, likely to go for another rest, but psych! Pryce actually has a full restore in addition to that Hyper Potion, which I think is the first time I've ever seen an enemy trainer use 2 different healing items. Usually they have all the same ones unless it's a full heal, but I'm blabbering. He is able to heal up Dugong, but once again it's not enough as Flamethrower keeps melting away at Dugong's blubbery physique, bringing him down into the red as one final Flamethrower puts him down, giving me the Glacier badge. Alright, well, that wasn't as bad as expected. I guess the water and ground typings of Pryce weren't enough to keep me down, though it doesn't help that neither Seal nor Dugong had any actual water moves to use. Really smart to, cover your weaknesses. God, why is Johto so bad? Now it's off to a nonsense long trek through the radio tower, but hey, there's a rival fight here, so there's at least something of substance. If you count poo as substance, I consider it. He leads off with Golbat, I go with Magmar and take it out with Flamethrower, leading to Feraligatr. This is actually okay though, as he locks himself into Thrash as I swap out into Typhlosion, letting me hit a crit Swift and taking it out with a second. Third out is Haunter, Flamethrower burned, Magnemite, Flamethrower crisped, Sneasel, Flamethrower super effective, and that's it. Well, that was indeed a shit show. Yes, I know, the master of bad puns has returned. Anyway, why does Petrol have 5 coughings and a wheezing? Why does Ariana go down to 3 flamethrowers? Why does Archer get soloed by Magmar due to Focus Blast hitting both his Houndour and Houndoom dead? Stupid! Alas, 1 ice path later, and I'm finally in Blackthorn City, entering Claire's gym, and oh boy, this is probably going to be the most difficult one so far. I'm really hoping Typhlosion is going to be able to use the combo of Sunny Day and Solar Beam to be able to nullify Gyarados and Kingdra, as well as the Aquatail dyad of Dragonairs, but we'll have to see. I lead with Magcargo to put it to sleep with Yawn while hitting an Ancient Power for half afterwards, setting up Light Screen once it falls asleep, and then swap into Typhlosion, setting up Sunny Day as Gyarados wakes up and hits a Dragon Rage. But that's exactly what I wanted, since I can just Solar Beam it to death, leading to Kingdra. Now all I have to do here is survive a single attack, which is easily doable within the sun, but a critical Solar Beam makes it easy enough to just not have to engage with Kingdra whatsoever, KOing and leading to the first Dragonair. The sun is still going, so why not Flamethrower? Taking a Thunder Wave that's immediately healed by a held Cherry Berry, letting me KO as the sun expires with a second Flamethrower and leaving just the second Dragonair. I figured I'm gonna get paralyzed again, so I may as well get the damage off with Flamethrower before going for Swift, taking a Dragon Pulse before needing to swap out on the healing turn for free. Out to Magmar we go, and this should be an easy 2-shot KO here. Unfortunately, it's more of a 3-shot if I keep going with Flamethrower, but after I negate the Thunder Wave with a Cherry Berry, I opt to take the risk with Hyper Beam. And it pays off, taking out the last 2/3 of the second Dragonair's HP, winning me the fight without a single loss. Huh, I've really made it through without a death. Well, maybe that means Lance won't be as bad as I think, though his team doesn't have enough water on it for me to really count him out just yet. After the 8th gym, we're ready to go after the box legendary Ho-Oh atop Bell Tower, which, yes, I did spend time attempting to capture this thing because it is a fire type. However, I probably won't use a legendary with a base stat total of 680 since it kinda goes against the spirit of the rules, but on Route 27, I can at least grab my legitimate 6th party member in Ponyta, my last encounter available before Kanto. Still don't know why Houndour isn't available in Johto in this game when they fixed that with Larvitar in the Safari Zone, but hey, what do I know about freaking game design? Apparently nothing. Why would you put the Johto Pokemon that was invented for the Johto game in the Johto region, you stupid f***? Well, anyway, I'm slowly losing my sanity, but hey, that was my 6th normal encounter. Why not we go for another legendary? Like I said before, I'll probably end up using Entei, as it has only a base stat total of 580, and therefore less than Dragonite, which Lance has frickin' 3 of. However, I think I'm gonna attempt the league without Entei, but I'll probably bring it along for Kanto and Red just to at least prove that I can take down Johto without legendaries. But with one victory road cleared, all I have left between me and the league is a sack of poo, which I solo with Typhlosion, setting up Sunny Day against his lead Sneasel, delivering a light feint attack before feinting it with Flamethrower, Feraligatr with Solar Beam, Haunter with Flamethrower, Kadabra with Flamethrower, Golbat with Flamethrower. Oh wait, never mind, it somehow survived on 1 HP, gotta use Swift, but it doesn't matter as his last Pokemon Magneton is weak to fire and gets melted into a pile of Magna Goop with Flamethrower, winning me the match. With the last threat neutralized, it's time to get Ho-Oh out of the team because I was using it for Fly since it's the only flying Pokemon I have. Entei's also out, everybody to level 47 edged up to 48, movesets aligned, and we're ready for the league. Growlithe has Reversal, Flame Wheel, Headbutt, and Crunch, Magmar with Focus Blast, Flamethrower, Smokescreen, and Hyper Beam, Typhlosion with Sunny Day, Swift, Solar Beam, and Flamethrower, Flareon with Fire Fang, Facade, Sand Attack, and Bite, Magcargo with Yawn, Light Screen, Flamethrower, and Ancient Power, and lastly, Rapidash with Flare Blitz, Poison Jab, Bounce, and Mega Horn. Probably my best moveset out of my entire party. But overall, I think the whole moveset of all of my party members is pretty much as good as I can hope for, other than Growlithe, but that moveset should be fixed once we get one more level and evolve it into Arcanine. First up though, Will starts off with Xatu. I start with Typhlosion, setting up Sunny Day and negating Confuse Ray with a held Person Berry before dishing out the pain, KOing Xatu with Flamethrower, Slowbro with Solar Beam, Jinx with Flamethrower, Executor with Flamethrower, and once the sun elapses, Xatu number 2 with almost a single Flamethrower, but it manages to survive using a Citrus Berry to heal before delivering Confuse Ray. But that's a simple swap over into Rapidash to take a Psychic for less than half, finishing the fight with a Flare Blitz to win. Not bad, though I did forget to put the XP share on Growlithe to have it get Flare Blitz during this fight, and I am not going to forget that once we go into Koga, but I don't plan on using Arcanine for this fight anyway, so it's not like it was a big mistake. Koga leads off with Ariados, myself with Typhlosion, burning it to a crisp with a Flamethrower as we finally get Flare Blitz on Growlithe, then follow up with Flamethrower on Fortress, 2 of them on Muck following a Minimize, a Flamethrower into Swift on Crobat following a Double Team, and finally a Flamethrower on Venomoth to win single-handedly. Not bad for the first 2 members, but I'm not surprised. Each Elite 4 member is pretty easy in comparison to Lance and his resistance to my primary type here. After evolving Growlithe into Arcanine though, third up is Bruno starting Hitmontop as I lead with Typhlosion for a 3rd time, setting up Sunny Day in the face of Counter, not doing any damage of course, to KO with Flamethrower, then Onix comes out and eats a Solar Beam as Machamp enters 3rd. Flamethrower once again gets the KO under the sun, as it does on Hitmonlee, leaving just Hitmonchan as the sun elapses. Of course, the defensive Hitmon survives because of the sun going down, but by burning it on the second Flamethrower following a full restore, it goes down and gives me a back-to-back single-handed win. Not bad at all. Just gotta clear out Karen, use the 7 rare candies given to me throughout Johto that were accessible that I totally won't forget about, and head on into Lance. She leads off with Umbreon, myself of course with Typhlosion for the 4th time to deliver Flamethrower for half as Umbreon goes for payback. Well that gives me a free reign to set up Sunny Day since I'm holding a Person Berry for the incoming Confuse Ray that I thought was going to land on turn 1, ensuring the follow-up Flamethrower gets the KO, leading to Gengar. Flamethrower also gets the one-shot here as Houndoom enters 3rd, so I opt to swap into Arcanine for the Dark Pulse, then just headbutt it to death, flinching it twice in a row and KOing with a 3rd following a Citrus Berry as Murkrow comes out 4th and falls to Flare Blitz. Last out is Vileplume, and sure enough, because it's a Grass type, it dies to a critical hit because we just love rubbing salt into the wounds of every individual we come across, leaving Arcanine with just 20 HP as we win the fight. No losses, with the whole squad riding into Lance. This is gonna be a massacre, and I'm gonna be a victim! Yay! Should be fun! I miss my setup moves. Anyway, he leads with Gyarados, myself with Typhlosion to set up Sunny Day before Waterfall connects for less than half, letting me deliver a Solar Beam for slightly less than half as Waterfall number 2 brings Typhlosion into Blaze range, giving me enough power to KO with a resisted Flamethrower thanks to Blaze, Stab, and the Sun leading into Aerodactyl. My only out here really is to swap into Magcargo, absorbing a Thunderfang and thankfully getting the Flame Body burn, using Flamethrower for half damage, taking 2 Rock Slides to be brought down to just 7 HP, but managing to KO with an Ancient Power, putting me 6-4. Unfortunately, 3 of those are Dragonites, and I'm already in a rough position with Magcargo being as low as it is. Dragonite number 1 enters next, so I swap into Rapidash, getting hit with a Dragon Rush before going for Bounce, getting the Paralysis on the hit, but going down to Thunder, leaving me with only 5 team members and forcing me into Flareon to attempt to flinch it to death with Bite. At least that was the intention at first, but after the first one, I decided to go for Facade so that I can bring him just above full restore territory, then go for Sand Attack to ensure that I can bring in Magmar, then going for Smokescreen so that I can finally bring out my finisher, Typhlosion, which, despite it being at very low HP, I wanted to set up my last Sunny Day as Dragonite is paralyzed and hit it with a Flamethrower to KO. 5-3 as Dragonite number 2 comes out, swapping into Magmar to dodge a Fire Blast and getting off a Smokescreen before going down to Outrage. Well, not surprising, but Flame Body means I'm pretty much safe to bring in Flareon and continue to dog on his accuracy with Sand Attack, barraging it and getting the damage from both the burn and from the confusion thanks to the fatigue off of Outrage, finally swapping out into Arcanine following a Citrus Berry to take Outrage for less than half, then using 2 headbutts to KO as Dragonite number 3 enters 5th, getting hit with a headbutt but taking out Arcanine with Dragon Rush. Well, I think Typhlosion is my next sack. At least I can outspeed and hit it, but can't get hit in return. I go for Flamethrower here, and somehow I get a critical hit that KOs Dragonite, leaving just Charizard. Well shoot, I might actually emerge from this fight with 2 team members. So I go into Flareon to sack that instead, going down to Dragon Claw before bringing in Magcargo, taking in an Air Slash, and unfortunately going down, leaving this a one-on-one with Typhlosion. But being in the red with this, it's pretty much the end of the line unless he goes for Air Slash or Fire Fang and misses with 5% chance. It's likely Dragon Claw here for the 100% accurate KO. I go for Flamethrower, outspeeding and hitting for over half thanks to Blaze, but he goes for Fire Fang, hitting and allowing Typhlosion to survive on 2 HP. How are we winning this? Holy crap. Let's go. Second Flamethrower takes him down, taking the championship but losing literally everybody but my starter that brought me here. That sucks, but I kept my integral starter for taking out water types, which will help immensely against Misty, a little bit less so against Brock, but also against Reds, Lapras, and Blastoise, so we at least still have a chance. Not to mention, we can pick up Houndoom, Camerupt, Torkoal, and Moltres while we're in Kanto, but Moltres is only available once we get all 16 badges and head into Mount Silver. It's gonna be a rough ride, but I'm gonna do my best. So for Kanto, there's not much outside of exactly the encounters, gym leaders, and Red himself. Unsurprisingly, we're going straight for my 3 new encounters because, oh lord, I only have Typhlosion in my legendaries. Thankfully, I can get 3 of them straight out of the gate, with the first one having to involve the Safari Zone. If you recall my HGSS Professor Oak's challenge that I did a few years ago, and I think is actually the most viewed video on this channel, funnily enough, the Safari Zone is stupid, to say the least, but I have to complete a few challenges here of capturing a Geodude and Sandshrew so that I can eventually unlock placing objects, because that's where Torkoal is. But I also have to wait on in-game time, so I'm off to do a few other things first. Those, of course, being grabbing myself a Houndour from Route 7, being EV trained in Special Attack and Speed, as well as a Numel from Viridian Forest by using the Hoenn sound on the radio card, being specialized in a balls-to-the-wall mixed attacker. After clearing out all of the trainers and making every city a flyable location in Kanto though, I'm finally able to head back to the Safari Zone, placing peak objects in the Savannah biome to make Torkoal appear. Grab that, EV train it in attack and defense to make maximum usage of Curse, and we're ready for the Kanto gyms. First up, Brock is quite easy, as I can solo with Typhlosion by KOing both Graveler and Rhyhorn with 1 eruption each, then set up Sunny Day as Amistar uses Protect, KOing it, Onix, and Kabutops with 1 Solar Beam each to win. As expected, but Misty is probably the one I'm most scared of. She leads with Golduck, I'm still leading Typhlosion as I go for Sunny Day on turn 1, seeing Disable, so that's actually a no damage free KO with Solar Beam, doing the same to Quagsire next turn as well as Starmie, leaving just Lapras. Now of course this thing is a bulking behemoth, so I'm unable to KO in one shot with Solar Beam, but Lapras only goes for Sing here, giving me free reign to swap out into Houndoom on the healing turn for free, set up Nasty Plot, take less than half from Water Pulse, and KO with a single Dark Pulse to win. Now, in case you're wondering how I already have Nasty Plot, Houndour actually learns it at level 53 rather than Houndoom's level 60, the level cap for the entirety of Kanto, as Blue's Ace is 60, so I'm glad I checked before evolving, otherwise this might have been a little bit of a disaster. Third up, Lieutenant Surge is quite the easy task thanks to Camerup's partial ground typing, letting me Earthquake to KO Raichu, Electrode following a double team, then Flamethrower on Magneton also following double team, then back to Earthquake to KO Electabuzz after a low kick does less than half, and finally Electrode number 2 with Earthquake following Light Screen to win. Easy enough. Erica, I mean, of course she's a pushover as a Grass-type user, just using 4 Eruptions from Typhlosion are enough to KO Jumpluff, Tangela, Victory Bell, and Blossom. Now for Janine, who's also pretty simple enough to take down with Houndoom, as we have super effective attacks for all of her Pokemon. And how, you may ask? Hidden Power. Because I turned out to roll into Max Power, Hidden Power Psychic. Not only that, I managed to roll Camerupt into Max Power, Hidden Power Water, both of which with mild natures to boost special attack and lower defense. How? Honestly, I'm just gonna chalk it up to all of my luck going to Pokemon and being dog water everywhere else. Case in point. This past weekend, I attended the Yu-Gi-Oh! Championship Series in Las Vegas alongside a wonderful Edison format content creator named Carpath. I'd explain Edison format, but that would take too long. But if you're interested in a much more simplified version of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's really fun and still has some cool combo plays, I would super suggest checking him out in the iCard of your screen or in the description, and leave a comment on his most recent video saying Chaotic Meatball says hello. Us and one of his friends got absolutely dumpstered in our team event. It's not that we're bad, I mean, Carpath has literally won multiple Edison events before. I played the most consistent deck in GOAT format with Royal Magical Library FTK, and we still died into the sun. Diatribe aside, my luck is in anything that isn't Pokemon. But hey, I appreciate it when it's the content I make. KOing Crobat with Hidden Power, Ariados with Flamethrower, Ariados with Flamethrower, haha, I got another bad pun in there, Weezing with Hidden Power, and finally Venomoth with Flamethrower to win. 3 more gyms to go, as Sabrina is easily handled by Houndoom once again, using Nasty Plot against her lead Espeon's Calm Mind, but it's not enough with the special defense boost, letting me KO Espeon, Alakazam, and Mr. Mime all with 1 Dark Pulse each to win. 7th on the docket is Blaine, and is quite easy thanks to Torkoal. Since Camerupt learned Earthquake already by level up, Torkoal got the Earthquake TM, and it was perfect for combining with Curse for this match. And thanks to Leftovers, which I got from the Snorlax I woke up earlier, I'm able to do the strat I'm most known for, alternating stat buffing moves with Protect to recover as much HP as possible, then kill my opponent into the sun, taking out Magcargo, Magmar following a Confuse Ray, and Rapidash following Torkoal hitting itself in 2 Flare Blitzes, all with 1 Earthquake each to win. Honestly, I think my team's better than in Johto. These Pokemon are so much more useful aside from Typhlosion, and I haven't even needed to use Entei yet. Last up, Blue leads with Executor, I lead with Houndoom, and go straight for Nasty Plot, seeing Trick Room set up. Alright, well, I was hoping for Hypnosis on turn 1, but that's fine. Now I can just set up 2 more Nasty Plots to help elapse the time, getting put to sleep on turn 2 with Hypnosis, but waking up with a Chesto Berry, then dodging 2 more as I set up my 3rd Nasty Plot and go for HP Psychic. Now, why, you may ask? Because it brings Executor into the red, ensuring that one final Hypnosis can't possibly connect by wasting the last Trick Room turn on a full restore, KOing with Dark Pulse as Trick Room runs out at the end of the turn, then sweeping Rhydon with Dark Pulse, Machamp with Flamethrower, Gyarados with Dark Pulse, Arcanine with Dark Pulse, and finally Pidgeot with Flamethrower to win the Earth Badge, giving me all 16 in total, and enough to go to Professor Oak, grab Rock Climb, and gain access to Mount Silver. Now then, one more errand to attend before finalizing the team, and that's Moltres. Thankfully, by bringing my team to level 80, the cap for red, I can survive whatever this thing throws at me, as I no longer have a way to put it to sleep without Magcargo, then chuck a bunch of Dusk Balls at it until it stays in, giving me my final encounter to replace Ho-Oh, since all that's done so far has been an EXP sync with the EXP share, since I didn't want to use a Pokemon with a base 680 stat total. And hell, I don't even have to bring in an HM user to this fight, as I just slapped Rock Climb on Entei and walked into the fight with Typhlosion, rocking Sunny Day, Eruption, Solar Beam, and Flamethrower holding a Miracle Seed for Solar Beam, Torkoal with Body Slam, Protect, Earthquake, and Curse holding Leftovers, and yes, Torkoal doesn't get a single physical fire move in this game for some reason, Houndoom with Flamethrower, Nasty Plot, HP Psychic, and Dark Pulse holding a Focus Sash that I got from the in-game mother, just in case I need to last-ditch set up a Nasty Plot in the face of anything. And before you're wondering how I'm going to do that in the face of hail, I'm just going to set up Sunny Day because the hail doesn't come back. Then we've got Camerupt with Earthquake, HP Water, Ember, and Flamethrower holding the Muscle Band to power up Earthquake and... I forgot to replace Ember with Rock Slide. Whoopsie. Then for our legendaries, I slapped Entei with Shadow Ball, Dig, Fire Fang, and Rock Climb holding the Charcoal to power up Fire Fang, and Moltres finally with Ancient Power, Flamethrower, Solar Beam, and Air Slash, holding the Shell Bell since it'll likely be the most offensive Pokemon on the team, and be able to recover as much as possible from it. I kinda wanted to make Entei a special attacker here though, because it learns Calm Mind at level 78, but I figured I'd already invested in physical attack and speed, but Shadow Ball was still worth the slot for... Actually, it wasn't worth anything, since that doesn't hit anything on Red's team for super effective damage. Disregard my stupidity. But with this squad of 6, I'm ready. Red leads off with Pikachu, I lead with Camerupt, and dodge an Iron Tail before one-shotting with Earthquake, putting myself up 6-5 as he sends out Lapras second, forcing me to swap out of a potential quad-effective Brine by going into Typhlosion, taking that for around 75%, then sacrificing it to set up Sunny Day to get rid of Hail, then bring in Moltres to blast Lapras with 2 Solar Beams following a Blizzard for less than half to KO, leading to Blastoise, who's demolished by a critical Solar Beam. Fourth out is Snorlax, so I blast it with a sun-boosted Flamethrower for... wow, that did actually jack shit. Well, after that Blizzard, I'm ready to swap it to Conserve Moltres, this time going into Camerupt for Physical Earthquake, taking both Blizzard and a critical crunch that KOs. Well, shoot, that was the first time I remember a critical hit being relevant in one of these fights. Not that it matters though, with the clean swap over to Houndoom, I'm clear to set up Nasty Plot and be insured by the Focus Sash, just in case that potential Giga Impact comes through, though Red goes for a Resisted Crunch. Interesting. Well, screw it, I was gonna go for 2 Nasty Plots with the Focus Sash against Giga Impact anyway, so why not try? Thankfully, Snorlax is once again dumb and goes for Crunch, bringing Houndoom to exactly half HP before he's able to wreck shop through the rest of his team, taking out Snorlax with Dark Pulse, Charizard with the same, and finally Venusaur with Flamethrower to end the fight, definitively proving that you can beat Pokemon HeartGold and SoulSilver in a Hardcore Nuzlocke setting using only Fire types. And heck, I only had to use 1 Legendary in Moltres, and they kinda just sat there. Though if I'm being honest, I don't even think I needed Moltres, considering Houndoom could have just had Hidden Power Psychic replaced with Solar Beam and would have done a better job, but I digress. With that all said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm happy to revisit some of these games that I haven't done a monotype run for in a long while, and I'm looking forward to taking down as much of this sheet as possible in 2024. Though I will admit, those Gen 1 and 2 runs aren't necessarily the most interesting things for viewers, nor are they interesting for me. Let me know down in the comments if you'd rather see me do some compilation videos for those two gens in particular, showing each type and whether or not they're viable to complete the game in a hardcore Nuzlocke setting or not. Going through every single type in sequential order and just doing the whole run up to where I can and glossing over some of the less important battles I would normally go over in these videos. But with that, remember to subscribe to the channel since we're about 1,600 away from 200,000, follow me on Twitter since I'm about 650 followers away from 10,000 over there, like the video, and I think that's it. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.